Go ahead.
Everyone else ready? All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We have the August 20th, 2026 meeting of the Cecil Township Planning Commission, and we'll get started here at 7:04. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the July 16th meeting. Everyone have a chance to review Dave's minutes?
I'll make
Right.
a motion, we approve the July 16th, 2026 minutes.
All right, and I'll second that. We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda is review of previous decisions. Jack, it looks like we have a couple items on here.
We did. Board of Supervisors at their August 3rd meeting approved application 2026-0017, Alto Piano Phase 9, revised lots 921 and 923. Also, 2026-0014, the rank plan 2 revision, as well as 2026-0012, Cool Valley Illustrative Site Plan conditional use. And the 10 conditions that were attached are waiting for acceptance. Those will be made available as soon as they are.
Perfect. Anybody have any questions? Dan, anything to add on to that? All right. Thank you. All right, we'll move forward on to old business with application 20266, struggling today, 2026-0018, Lambert Fisher Papp Road Land Development.
Yeah, okay, this blue stuff, that's the H and the H. Yep, should be good. Oh, yeah, don't, it doesn't. That one's fine, doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll go with this. This
Okay.
was the main issue. Last meeting, we went with the condition of doing the H&H study on this, the McPherson tributaries. And that H&H came back, and we got the letter of satisfaction of the condition from Gateway, and these are the results. This blue shaded area is that 1% 100-year floodplain. So we are outside. It actually buys a couple extra feet, so that's cool. But it won't be impacting our proposed building site as drawn.
Okay, and that's good. That's what we were
Yeah,
hoping to
that
confirm.
was the only
So,
open question mark.
Yep,
Up to
that's
that point,
wonderful.
So.
I have a clean letter on this dated August 17th, 2026. Just for clarification, I'm sorry, your name is?
Andrew Good.
Andrew, or is there going to be some wall pack lighting on this building, like security lighting or anything?
So we're gonna stick with, my engineer said there was a question about the lighting, but we're gonna do regular business hours. There's gonna be it's not even gonna be open to the public, but there's not gonna be a proposed lighting plan for after hours business.
You're not going to have any security lighting on your building? You're not going to put a wall pack or anything up to light it with?
It's not planned as of right now. The most it would be is, small landscape lighting. If we have to make a plan up for that, then I'll have him.
Yeah, I mean, the ordinance requires illumination of the parking lot. I didn't know if you really ask the question on this, but the parking lot whether you want to do it or not requires illumination,
Okay.
and people can be there at night. So I would just recommend that you have them just add a wall pack or something to the building,
Okay.
just for that, for security lighting. I'm sure it gets very dark down there at night.
They're
Yeah.
actually, it's, that corner right here. I think this corner is the one with the street light on
Oh, it does
This is
have
the one with
street
the
light.
transform-
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
But I would just say at the door, then just get some lights so there's some lighting in the parking lot.
Probably one on each corner, probably.
Yeah,
meets-
whatever. I just, like
Mm.
I said, you can't say that you're not gonna light it.
Well,
You're not
yeah,
gonna
I
work
just
at
know-
night.
I just know that municipal building that's down the way, there's been some, resident complaints about that lighting, so I
Yeah.
want to minimize,
Sure, yeah, I think a wall pack.
whatever lighting we do have is going to be.
Yeah, just a wall pack would probably just be enough on
Okay.
like a couple of sides. Yep. That's all I have.
All right.
Otherwise, it's,
Thanks, Dan. Lauren or Candy?
I have nothing.
No, Dan answered my question because when I reviewed the plans, I didn't see any lighting plan at all for the parking lot, so I'm good
yeah,
with that.
I mean, it's
So,
such a small building, and
Yeah.
like I said, I think between the illumination from the street light, they could put a couple wall packs up there,
Yeah.
they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, our ordinance says it has to be no greater than a foot candle.
Right.
Most times we're fighting people not to put
Right, yeah,
too much lighting in.
yeah,
In this case, I'm saying you just should have a little security light
right,
in there, that's all.
security. Yeah.
Especially if it's a, commercial building.
I have anything else, Jason?
Sure. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve application 2026-0018 Lambert Fisher Pap Road Land Development Application. I believe all the comments were addressed in the Gateway, as it was reflected in the Gateway August 17th letter, so I don't think there's anything that needs to be contingent on.
Wall pack, the lighting?
Oh, the wall pack lighting, yeah, the wall pack lighting, which
Yep.
is not part of the letter.
Yep.
Please.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion to approve with that one condition and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you
Motion
very much,
carries.
guys.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Good luck. I will be moving on to new business now. Application 2026-0019, American Legion subdivision plan.
You have a thumb drive? Sorry? You have a thumb drive? Anything to put up? And do you have the drawing by chance?
I do.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Give it on.
On thumb drive? No, I can email.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what I have here.
What this is doing is, the American Legion is taking less property, getting rid of the property, and going to be selling that outside in the lot too there, so that someone else can maintain and take care of it. They've determined that their needs are not that big anymore. There's a stream that runs through there. It's inaccessible on the other side of the stream for them. You'd have to exit out of there and go to Bishop Alley to go to the back property.
So,
Well, can you tell me your name first, please?
Mark Hummel, I'm representing Arpenter Land Surveying.
Thank you.
So Mark, do you have our letter?
I got your letter last Friday, yes.
Okay. Have you made any changes?
Yes, I've made all the changes, but I was waiting to if there was any comments here tonight.
Okay. So members of the planning commission, there was some confusion on this. We thought it was a lot line revision, but they're actually creating a new lot. It's my understanding that the Lisinski family wants to build a house on this lot. They already own the other lot adjacent to it that's off of Bishop Alley. So Mr. Lisinski is in the middle of doing a planning module right now for that new lot. Even though it's one lot, it requires sewage planning. So they're taking care of that. I had some comments related to the plan, and I think they were pretty straightforward. I haven't seen any revisions yet, but I trust that Mark's got the revisions made. That's all really the comments that I have.
And you say you've addressed all those comments. Do you have any of that with you tonight?
Sorry?
Your revisions?
No, I did not print them out because I was waiting to make sure that, there was nothing else that I needed to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the future, if you bring something back, I would just recommend if you can try to address the comments before the meeting. That's always helpful. If you're wasn't aware of that. I know my letter says that we won't accept anything new to review, but most people come to the meeting with the revisions made, so, it's planning commission's purview. I mean, if you want to make it contingent, I mean, we have 2 weeks before the board of supervisors meetings. We can certainly have enough time to review the stuff.
I think we would certainly.
Yeah.
If there's
Do
no
that.
more comments, I will have it to you by Monday morning.
That's fine. You need to get it back into Liz, and she can circulate it to everybody. Liz Ross, the zoning officer?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You need to get it back into Liz Ross, the zoning officer, when you submit it back in? Okay. You can copy me, but make sure you get it to Liz.
absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, yes.
I don't really have any questions on this one. Lauren, Candy?
I
No,
don't.
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
So we have a letter dated August 13th, 2026. Anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve application 2026-0019 American Legion subdivision plan contingent upon the Gateway Engineers comment letter dated August 13th, 2026.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is application 2026-0020, Iron Ridge PRD Phase 2 subdivision plan. If you could please identify yourself.
Good evening, Robert Binding with Scheffler and Company. I'm here for the Iron Ridge Phase 2 final approval. Nothing has changed from the last time you saw this plan. Phase 1 well underway, working west to east, and now are ready to start Phase 2. In Phase 2, there are 67 units, which 42 are townhomes, which is shown on the plan behind you in blue. And nothing's changed with this plan. Gateway's reviewed it. We have a review letter with, I think, 2 minor comments, a sealed imprint on one of the drawings. Lot on the recording plan needs.
And Bob, this whole area is already graded, right?
Pardon me?
This area is graded?
Correct.
Yeah, it's graded, and all they need to do is put in the utilities and pave the road. So they were pushing to try to get this section of the plan developed, so they had another type of product to sell on the project. So, again, we have a letter dated August 17th, and really there's, we've already reviewed all the public improvements. Nothing has changed. They just had some minor things to do. They've already given us the cost estimate related to this. The sewers were approved for both phases, and that's really about it.
I'm not sure if I heard you correctly. You said the section in blue, but it's the blue and the yellow down in the southeast corner, correct?
So north of Calvin Road, the blue are the townhomes, and south are the single-family homes. That is Phase 2. The phase line kind of splits the property right up the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's all graded and they're ready to roll.
Hey, Dan, can you explain the comment you have under the plan of recording number 2 on that August 17th letter regarding the creating the townhouse subdivision now for the individual units?
Yeah, I mean, typically what happens is that they will show the block of the townhouses with like a dashed line in it, and then the as-built plans come in afterwards. Is that your intent?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, they're not, I think we were just questioning, did they need to do that because we're going to subdivide it on party walls. So I think that their recorded plan, grab that. Do you have the recorded plan by chance, Bob? So Lauren, they actually have the lines drawn, and I think we were just questioning whether they wanted to do them with meets and bounds at this point, that they just needed to show them as, you guys usually put the recorded plan at the end, don't you? There you go.
Yep.
Keep going down. I think this is more than one sheet. Yeah, so the question is, Bob, do you really want to put meets and bounds on those individual lot lines? Typically, we don't see that.
Probably not. We probably want to do that after they're built.
Right. So I think that's the comment, Lauren. They should take those off.
Okay. That's helpful. I want to understand a
Yeah.
little bit better. But
Yeah, so you put them on as just a dash line now.
yeah,
They build the unit, then there's a re-subdivision of each
Yep.
one. I mean, we've done I forget the last plan that we did. It was probably McConnell Trails.
right.
Yeah.
And then those plans are just approved administratively. They don't need to come back
Yeah.
to the planning commission.
That was the only question I had, Jason.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it seemed pretty straightforward to me, too. Candy?
So this Iron Ridge Drive, it's the same street on both sides, on Phase 1 and Phase 2? It's Iron Ridge Drive on both sides?
Phase 1 is to the west,
Yeah, over there.
correct.
And this side is,
Phase
that's,
2
there,
is Calvin Road,
but it's all Iron Ridge Drive that goes through the plan.
correct.
Okay. Could you tell me on this plan where your visitor parking is?
I believe it's, let me go back to the site plan.
It's there at the entrance on each side, Bob. You had it
Right,
down there,
right.
yeah.
here's a pull-up.
Those are only located where the mailbox is, or the mailboxes are still up here on the
I
left?
think that one by the
There's parking
corner is the
here at the
mailbox.
townhomes as well. Again, this was all. vetted
Oh,
out
okay,
in
I see it.
preliminary.
Yeah, this is exactly as it was on the PRD. So they've added parking spaces there. Where's the gang box on this for the mail? That's all, there's only one location for that, right, for the whole
Yeah, it's down here.
development?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought
it's
that
right
was.
there. So the mail's delivered there.
Okay.
Those spaces are strictly for the multifamily.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have a really weird question, but is there any reason why when you guys go in and do these plans as a developer, you go in and take down every tree that there is, regardless whether you're in that phase or not?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Is there any reason why, as developers, you guys go in and remove every tree on the property, whether you're in the phase 1 or phase 2 area of it?
I can't speak for the developer. I'm the engineer that prepares the
Okay.
plans. I think typically we try to maintain all natural vegetation we can if possible.
This is a brutally steep piece of property. There's no way that they were gonna create these lots without
No,
taking
I'm
out
not, that's not really what my question is. My question is they're built, they're currently, my understanding is working right now on phase 1.
Right.
Phase 2 it's the blue and the yellow, right, on this side
Yep.
of,
Correct.
okay. Well, when they did it, they removed all the trees over here on this side too at the same time before they even did anything on that side. And that was my question. Why do they do that? Why do they go in and remove every tree on this piece of property instead of working on phase 1 and then once they get phase 1 done, then go over and do phase 2?
Yep.
We have
Bob,
people in this township that are flooding like mad from,
There are typical windows, tree clearing because of endangered species such as bats. So within that window, developers have to do that so they don't affect endangered species.
well, wouldn't they be endangered if the trees are going and there's none there anyway?
No, it's about, I don't want to get into the weeds about this, but it's about the mating season.
Okay. Okay.
and there was mass grading that needed to take place here too. So they graded both phases 1 and 2 at the same time. So when they move the dirt, they have to clear the trees. And they have significant E&S protections in that, there's a big pond down at the bottom of the hill that captures all the water from the development.
Yeah, I mean, they can't just leave it open. They'd have to seed it if it was gonna be sitting there.
We would have
Bare
heard
earth
from the
for a number of
Montauk
times.
Trail if there was a problem.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we talked about this. Do you know if the townhouses are gonna be like sold or are they gonna be like rentals
They're all for purchase.
for purchase? Okay.
Lauren, do you have anything else?
No.
Candy,
No.
do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve application 20260020 Iron Ridge PRD Phase 2 subdivision plan contingent upon the Gateway Engineers letter and the comments therein dated August 17th, 2026.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. Thank you.
Very much for your time.
Okay, next item we have on the agenda is application 2026-0021, Independent Enterprises rezoning.
All right. just laying here?
Yeah, it was. Let me see which one it is. Yeah, that's.
The black, David, you had the black flash drive.
Yeah, it's a black one, but I thought it was like gray though too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Just looked at the edit from the. Certainly wasn't all that in there. Oh.
Go down to the D right there.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yes. Saw all those folders. I was like, that's not mine. Hey, yes, my name's David Lucci. I'm from Victor Wetzel Associates. I'm here for the independent enterprise rezoning on behalf of Collier Development, and I have some copies that I'd like to just give you. I do have a small PowerPoint.
Thank you.
And I would go through all this. I'll let you have one too. Okay. All right, yes. So again, my name's David Lucci. I'm from Victor Wetzel Associates. We're land planners and landscape architects. And we would like to show you this rezoning of a piece of property in Cecil Township. I have, again, a small PowerPoint that I can go through, and you can go through with me on this and go through all the slides here. First, the township zoning map. Where this piece of property is located is in the red circle there. We are in the R1 zoning district. Better shown you is the area in question. It's 87.4 acres of property. In Cecil Township, there's 55.3 acres. And then this property is unique that it's in two townships. To the north is where South Fayette Township is at, and that has 32.1 acres. So get you related to where the roads are at. On the south side, we have Reesing Road. To the west, we have South Fayette Way that connects to the turnpike. On the east side of our property, we have the railroad there, and you can see where Route 50 is. And then on the north side in South Fayette Township is where Cecil Sturgeon Road is located. That, as you know, terminates into a cul-de-sac now because of the turnpike. Zoning, but the whole entire property in Cecil Township, it's in the R1 zoning district, as I showed you before. And then it just so happens that in South Fayette Township, it's also in the R1 zoning district. Next slide shows you the topography, slopes, and access. It's more, what we call like a standalone parcel in that the orange and purple represent the steep slopes. The purple is the 40% and greater. The orange area represents slopes of 25 to 40% slopes. So, and we have some grade elevations that you can see there. A 1020 elevation is along Reason Road, and to the east of that side is elevation 990. And then on the high point of the property, you can see is 1160. So we have about 140 foot of grade change in that location. And then on the east side, you can see 990 in the other area where 1116 is at. That's where there is a radio tower on the property today. So that's about 120, 130 feet of grade change. So it's very steep to gain access off of Reason Road. The existing entrance is off of South Fayette Way. There's existing road that connects, gets access to this piece of property. Again, then it falls down to the north in South Fayette Township, where there's elevation 950 and 990. There's a stream that goes down there. So it's basically high in the middle, low on Reason Road and on Sturgeon Road. So again, we're here to say that it's incompatible with residential zoning, which it is zoned today. Just because of the steep slopes, the access off of Reason Road, you can't do, and plus it has the radio tower and the one access that is currently there. We believe it's more compatible with a contractor's yard, and that's what we are here asking for, to be rezoned from R1 to I1 light industrial. And this is what we are thinking, it's more of a contractor's yard. There's that turnpike, the maintenance building is to the west. That is something that you'll see in the next slide here. Next, I guess, couple slides here. But this contractor's yard is what we're proposing, would be shown here with the brown building showing you that would be an office building and a maintenance garage area, and then we'd have layout spaces. And again, contractor's yard, any developed, undeveloped, or vacant land or parcel use as a place of operation and a storage of general contractor or tradesman, including storage, staging, parking of construction equipment, material, and company vehicles. That's what a definition of the contractor's yard in the ordinance. So we have a blow up of what we will be proposing as a contractor's yard. Again, our access would be off of South Fayette Way, with where there is existing Sullivan Drive. Again, the brown building showing you the office and maintenance building. The green area represents that we would be proposing slope forestation. So any cut and fill in that place, we would be proposing slope reforestation. You can see below that green area is there is existing vegetation that we would not be disturbing. So that area would be untouched. So you would have existing trees, and then you'd have proposed trees, and then our flat area. And the usable area that we're proposing would be about 18 acres. And then there would be a fill slope going back, that's area in white that you see. So we show a site section of this to show you where we would be at. And pointer's better than mine. This area here is Reason Road at elevation 1017, and then we would have the existing vegetation that would be next to Reason Road, and then we would have our proposed reforestation. Then we would have our contractor's yard, which would be the level area. So again, you wouldn't be able to see this contractor's yard from Reason Road. And we have, I don't know if anybody's familiar with an Ohio Township along 279, there is a Mount Nebo Point, which is a retail center, and you really can't see that shopping center on top of the hill because of the steep hillside that is between where Mount Nebo Road is and where the shopping center is at. So that's about the same relationship. You can only find that shopping center when you get up there because it's on a hill, and we would be proposing the same kind of thing. And something more closer to home here, we would have the PA Turnpike maintenance is the contractor's yard that we're thinking, and that's right beside us. And how you can see, you can't see anything of the contractor's yard when you're driving along there. But the only way you can find it is when you're along Reason Road and where the entrance drive is at. You can see the existing warehouse office building is at. Other than that, it's pretty concealed. So again, we are proposing about 33.5 acres to be from the R1 to the I1, and that is that shaded in green there on that slide. And just going through the zoning ordinance, what is I1 light industrial district? Definition is, in addition to the goals listed at section 240-31 above, it is the purpose of the district to allow lot-by-lot industrial development. Where IL light industrial, the contractor's office yard is a permitted use by right. That's what we show there and highlighted. In the contractor's office and yard, I1 and I2 zoning districts are the only areas that are allowed for this type of use. And then we have the definition of a contractor's yard listed here in Article 2. Any developed, undeveloped, or vacant land or parcel used as a place of operation and or storage for general contractor or tradesman, including storage, staging, parking of construction equipment, material, and or company vehicles. That's what we would like to have in this property. So let's look at the existing zoning map, and the areas that I show in circles there is the area where we have existing I1 zoning district. And we would be proposing the I1 zoning district where in red is where we would be, that's where the subject property is located. And similar to, you know, where it's scattered throughout the township. And then going back to our site plan there, Collier development use is compatible with the land identical to the abutting turnpike facility, which is to our west. We believe it's consistent with the I1 zoning objective for lot-by-lot industrial parcels as defined by the ordinance. And then we believe it's industrial parcel is it's reasonable stage 1 for property. It will evolve into future or highest or best use in the future. So we believe this site would be a good place for something like that. So I can answer any questions that you might have.
Has there been any application to South Fayette about rezoning their parcel, the parcel within their township?
We do not need to do any of that because we're not going to be disturbing in that area or, you know, with this development. It'd be all on Cecil Township property.
Kind of what I thought, but I would need to confirm.
Sure.
David, don't I understand that South Fayette's rezoning that to be more compatible with the transportation there, like some sort of a commercial?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what, I think your partner Steve Victor told me that South Fayette is looking at different zoning there than R1 too, because of the highway.
Yeah, and so this one's a really interesting one for me. I mean, Lauren and Kathy, because this is like a coming together of a lot of issues that have been kind of brewing for some time, right? So we have the turnpike there, and R1 might not be the most compatible, you know, right up against the turnpike, but you know, it's right across the street from a new housing plan going in, and currently if South Fayette's looking at rezoning, that's interesting. I've not heard that yet, but it's as of right now, it's still R1. So now you're sandwiching it in between and buttoning I1 and Cecil up against R1 in a neighboring township that's not necessarily neighborly. So maybe some confirmation of that would be
I bel-
helpful in this process.
I believe that, I'm not sure which parcel it is, but one of these parcels over here was already approved in South Fayette Township for storage facilities. So it would be like right here.
Down off the,
It's like right
off Miller's
across,
Run?
right here. I think it's in this area right here.
oh, up in
Where the flat land already is, that's already been approved for
wasn't that
storage.
I think that was a staging lot for
Yeah,
the
but now
turnpike
they're gonna make it
construction.
into storage, I think.
That's good use of that space.
So, I mean, it would kind of be like, not obviously residential anymore,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, so it'd be I mean, it'd be good to get some feedback from South Fayette on that. But I think probably the biggest pause for me as was literally the last bullet point. Is it's a reasonable stage one use for the property, it will evolve to a future highest and best use. So if we make that industrial and it's directly across Rising Road from an existing development, it'll be a contractor's yard today, and 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what other industrial use will now be permitted by use by right across Rising Road from an existing housing plan?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my comment. So it forced me to go back and look at the comprehensive plan that was passed in 2023 and look at the future land use map. And I know that's not the zoning map, but if you look at that property that we're talking about, that's right on the borderline of South Fayette, the future land map envisioned that being a mixed-use commercial land use on the east side. And then as you go farther to the west there, mixed-use residential land use. So it's a little bit more of a mix, certainly envisioning that it was not an R1 or an R2 traditional residential,
Sure.
but at least through that process, that was the vision. And again, I have to watch myself knowing that it's not a zoning map per se, but that was what the group that Jason, you were on
Yeah.
and participated in. And that's how this map came to be and approved in 2023.
And a zoning change, or even looking at a future land use of something that's evolving from R1 into something that's maybe more dense residential or even into a commercial,
Yeah.
while remaining adjacent to existing R1, that's one thing. But to suddenly go from R1 into industrial, I think is a rather abrupt change.
I think so too, and I think you can still achieve, the goal of this project. It would just add some more guide rails if you were to transition into that, being consistent with the future land map, looking at a mixed-use commercial. You'd have to get specific approvals, of course, because it's not, contractor yard is not obviously specific, a permit by right in a mixed commercial use, but it doesn't mean that you can't get approval for it through the necessary channels.
I'd definitely be way more.
And so
comfortable
then
with that,
if
yeah.
the contractor yard, if they no longer exist, then it doesn't open itself up to something more industrial, to your point.
I was going to just state that, I mean, the cross-section that I was showing you, we're not really right beside, we do have this whole area here that's going to be existing vegetation. You're not going to be able to see, the contractor's yard, even when you're on Reason Road, or if you're next to that residential development.
Rising Road's not,
Rising,
yeah, no, it's okay. I get, it's unique pronunciation maybe, but Rising Road's not my concern. It is the Silver Creek development that then does go up the opposite side of that valley. And so maybe at the existing model home, you may not be able to see the development up there, but as you continue back up that development, you absolutely will.
But won't they already be able to see all the activity that takes place at the Turnpike building?
Yeah, I mean, we're at the
Because
same
they're
kind of
literally gonna be
elevation.
beside each other.
We don't, and I agree with that, but we don't have control over the turnpike.
My question is, maybe Jack knows, do you know what Stewart Contracting's currently zoned as?
It's.
He was
zoned-
pre-existing, wasn't he?
Yeah. It's I. It's further up Rising,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's exactly the same use.
yes.
Your residences.
Yep.
So,
And for something that predates us, I mean, we kind of have to accept.
No, I understand that. I'm
what it
just
is,
saying, in my mind, it's the same exact use with residents around it.
So can I just give you, and I have no opinion on this,
Sure.
just from a real estate perspective, we've heard Burns and Scalo, who control this property. They've tried to market it for different type uses here, and tried to get commercial, they considered residential, and just, it doesn't work because of the highway being there and the really, there's not enough generation of interest for commercial, like a commercial center or something like that at this point.
Yeah.
And actually, Steve Victor made a good point, Michael's partner. He told me when we were talking about this, he said, a contractor's yard now, but when the township develops in the future, like this isn't going to be the highest and best use. It could be a commercial center in the future, and it's already graded for 18 acres flat.
Yeah.
So
No, I don't
that's
think I have a
that's
problem.
the advantage to it.
I think that's kind of part of the conundrum that's rolling around in my head is that I don't know that I have a problem necessarily with a contractor's yard. Because I don't know that a contractor's yard necessarily is going to be disruptive to future residents of the housing plan either. It's the problem of the future potential use once we rezone it to I-1.
Well,
If we could find another solution that still permits the current desired use for it, but limits the future potential use to reduce the potential for conflicts between neighboring properties and neighboring zoning districts, I think that would be,
well, if you rezone it to I-1, it's light industrial, the only uses that it can be made is whatever's currently in the ordinance, unless the ordinance changes. It can't go heavier.
Right. So Teodoro.
So it can either be I-1, or they can revert back to a mixed use and make it less of a use. They just can't go up. So it's never going to be any
plus-
more of a higher use than what it,
no, I get that.
than that.
I-1 could still be could be fairly obnoxious to an adjacent R1.
Well,
It has
I-1
that
is
potential.
Teodoro Industrial Park.
Which is
And we
surrounded by
have
business
we have the whole village around it
and a school and.
in the school.
Yeah.
And then remember, there's the radio tower that's right smack in the middle, so you're not gonna have residential there, but you're gonna be a radio tower in your backyard.
No, I mean,
And the turnpike noise and everything else that you're gonna be hearing.
I don't think that it's going to see residential development. I mean, who knows? None of us really know, right? But I don't see it as potential residential. I'm just concerned about putting an industrial use immediately adjacent to a residential. My preference is to,
Well, I would be concerned if it was going beside Silver Creek.
I would,
That to me would be a concern, but it's literally across the road on a hill beside it already, regardless of whether we have a choice or not, by a use that stores salt, has trucks, brings in and out equipment. So regardless of whether we had any say in it, the turnpike is using theirs, like he said, exactly like a contractor's yard. And I would have a concern if they were beside it, but they're across the street. And
yeah, again, I don't know that a contractor's yard necessarily, the current planned use for the current plans for that property are necessarily what I find as being incompatible. It's the potential future development of that property once further development occurs, once you open it up to I-1.
my concern is what the actual, because I don't remember right now.
Do you want to hear what the uses are in I-1?
Yeah, it's kind of what I want to review, because I think that's kind of what it gets down to.
So the uses in I-1 are assembly and packaging of finished goods, an automotive repair garage, contractor's office and yard, distribution business, not including trucking terminal, a laboratory, manufacturing of furniture, medical equipment, musical instruments, and scientific instruments, manufacture, compounding, processing, or treatment of such products as bakery goods, confections, cosmetics, dairy products, drugs, perfumes, pharmaceuticals, and toiletries. Number 8, manufacture, compounding, assembling, or treatment of articles of merchandise from the following previously prepared materials: bone, concrete products, cellophane, canvas, hair, horn, leather, paper, and paperboard, plastics, precious or semi-precious metals or stones, marble, metals, shell, straw, textiles, wood, yarn, or paint, a printing service, research activity, warehousing, indoor storage, wholesale trade, indoor, business and professional office, essential service, farm, accessory uses including restaurant or cafeteria for employees, outdoor private swimming pools and tennis courts, antenna and satellite dishes and accessory buildings, and then distributed antenna systems. Then conditional uses are truck terminal, greenhouse, bus or railway station, correctional institution, government office, club, fraternity organization, or lodge, house of worship, indoor recreational facility, machine repair, library, museum, parking garage, communications facility, adult business, all other uses by right in commercial districts except any residential use. Principal solar energy system. And then there's a couple, there's some special exceptions comparable which are not specifically listed. So that's the run. So it is on the lighter side. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, there's not gonna be a foundry going up there or something in the future.
Yeah, modern industrial is not our industrial that we remember.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's, my concern is the potential for future use and being able to limit the ability of that to impact it, so.
I mean, and the access to the expressway is, that's another, again, right now it's not important, but in the future, that won't be the highest and best use. It won't be worth it just to sit there because at some point, the township will have developed to some point, I don't know when it is.
Sure.
And there's a highway with an access point there. So something that makes sense to be along the highway and close that people can get on and off into. Like I said, you have an 18-acre flat piece of ground. Whereas, and again, I'm speaking like a developer, but a developer, Lauren knows, a developer's not going to pay. There's not enough money in a project to do as much work there as maybe a contractor who's going to buy this has the ability to do it at his cost.
Sure.
Versus, somebody else. So I've said way too much.
No, you make good points, and I appreciate it.
No,
What are your thoughts, Lauren?
I obviously have kind of come full circle myself. Everything that Dan and everybody else makes perfect sense to me. Certainly, if others have looked at it and they don't find it financially viable with the amount of work that would need to go into to develop it itself, this seems like a logical next step in something that you would never have a residential development in, nor want one at this point in time. So taking something that's, has its issues, I guess maybe I'll call it, with the cell tower, the radio tower, and the other things, and obviously the topography. There's a lot of cost that goes in that to make it developable, and maybe in the future it does become something else that's better versus me right off the bat thinking like, okay, what's the future land use plan for the comprehensive plan state? And but when you read off those lists of uses under light I-1, I don't really have any pause for one of those going in. Certainly, if it wants to be anything else, then it needs to come back in for a separate approval.
Well, yeah, if it wants to be something other than use by right. Yeah.
My concern with the mixed use is, you talked about mixed use commercial, most of your mixed use commercial uses that I remember that they talked about would involve more traffic going in and out of the site. more traffic coming down onto and off of Rising Road than this would.
And that's,
This would be very limited, probably traffic, I would
Yeah,
think.
well,
Well,
you're
I
right,
mean,
and that's what-
potential, I mean, if you leave it I-1, this could become an Amazon distribution center 5 years from now.
It could, but it's
And then
right.
you have that traffic.
It's right next to an interstate, though, so
Sure.
you limit the amount of trucks, trolling through a residential development trying to find the highway. You can on and off is a really key thing.
But
For
an Amazon delivery truck is not gonna come down this way. They're gonna go get on the turnpike and come down,
Yeah.
majority of them.
Well, I mean, the tractor trailers would, the delivery
The
trucks.
tractor trailers can't fit through the tunnel, so.
I mean, they would come down the turnpike and the tractor trailers would be in and out from the turnpike, whereas your delivery vehicles would then traverse your township roads.
Yeah,
And,
Jason, I don't have anything
so I-
specific
that's-
with it. The only thing that I would like to understand or see if I had to throw anything, against this as far as a recommendation is to really understand what South Fayette's thinking on the other side of the boundary. I'm just curious what they're thinking about doing over there. That's all.
Some type of confirmation, communication with them, I think would be recommended. And then, yeah. And then if,
Well, but remember, this parcel has 30 acres in South Fayette and zoned R1. So unless they'd rezone it in South Fayette, they control it. You know what I mean, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. We're not
your
intending
client
to go to
controls the
South Fayette
buffer
and
of this
rezone
too.
it.
It's not
Staying
like,
at R1 for all we understand.
my point is that if we were able, if we had confirmation from South Fayette that they were looking at adjusting, rezoning that adjacent property, regardless of who controls it, over to something that was, would be more congruent with this
yeah,
proposed zoning
I would
change, I'd be
agree.
a lot more comfortable with that.
Yeah. Well, we can definitely reach out to South Fayette and find out what they're doing, right, Jack?
Yeah. I mean, again, we're not wanting to go to South Fay and ask for rezoning, because there's a stream down below there. There's gonna be issues.
No, and
that-
I'm
that,
not suggesting that you ask them for the rezoning, but if they are already considering, if we were to communicate with them and they're saying, no, that's stay in R1, I would not be comfortable rezoning I-1 right up against what they want to stay as R1, right? It's just not, that's not neighborly. I mean, it would even be more of the same issue of what I'm talking about putting I-1 right next to R1 and existing residential development. So, but if they came back and said, yeah, we are considering rezoning that, we're actually in the works right now of rezoning that all to commercial. I mean, that makes that kind of takes that all away, right? Because now you're putting I-1 next to something that's commercial, there's not an issue there. That's just how my brain's working to it.
Well, we were hoping that we would, is there a way that we'd like to set the public hearing if we can, next month or whatever. We can come back, I guess, to the planning commission if you need to have that, I guess. We're like trying to schedule to, set the public hearing and get the date going and stuff like that. I don't know if there's a way that we can.
Well, you can just ask the planning commission for a recommendation tonight. And the board can consider whether they want to set the public hearing.
And the public hearing's not there. I mean, the
public-
reality is, as planning commission, we're a recommending body. We could recommend no. And the board of supervisors still has the right and the authority to say yes and set the public hearing. So, I'm just saying that I would personally feel a lot more comfortable with a little bit more information before I made any recommendation on this.
I don't have any other comments, Jason.
Candy? Does anybody want to make a motion? It's okay.
That's why we're here.
I make a motion that we approve the rezoning for independent enterprises on Rising Road. Application 2026-0021 to I-1 from R, what is it,
R1 to I1.
R1 to I-1.
You done? I'd like to second it, but I'd like to condition it based on getting that additional information from South Fayette. And I believe there's a comment letter out there, right?
The comment letter simply
just
states that this
gets
is a,
approved.
Yeah, I
legislative
just
process.
stated that the application was complete. Again, this is a legislative issue. It's really
Okay.
not an engineering issue, so I really had no comments related to that. I'm trying to get through South Fayette's comprehensive plan here real quickly to give you an answer. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I'm not, let me see, here we go. Give me 1 second. So right in, up around the turnpike, they have changed to mixed use, expand PED. That's what they have, and then they have promote economic development, PED, for large undeveloped tracts. So in their comprehensive plan, they're not leaving that R1.
So is that their future land?
That's their
land use
future
map?
land use map.
Which is compatible with our future land use
Right.
map, but, you know,
Well, and again, land use maps are done with, in a vacuum, really. They're a two-dimensional exercise, right? So you make a property mixed use, and it all sounds good until you go out and try to develop it as mixed use, and it's not in, like Candy said, it's not in the right location, doesn't have enough traffic. You would think it does next to the transportation, but my point is, and I thought, and again, this is my point, Steve Victor said this, is like in the future, if all of this develops up around here and whatever, then this becomes more desirable for something else that's on a level of, and you can use in our I district, you can make it commercial, right? Commercial's compatible with it. So you could really, it leaves you open to a lot of different things.
yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, the thought rolling around in my head is that maybe the better idea, it's, maybe it doesn't solve this applicant's issue today, but is that maybe we look at moving, making contractor yards able to be put into commercial districts, not restricting them to the industrial district.
Yeah, that was a bone of contention with the supervisors.
No, I understand, but
Yeah.
I
They,
still
they
think-
moved, they moved it to I-1 for a reason.
Yeah,
Maybe it was the
but
old style
but
of contractor yards.
keeps-
Yeah. keeps
This
bring-
isn't the first time that it's reared its head
Yeah,
before us, and so I think is, always worth looking at again.
yeah.
Well, I still second it.
But
Yeah.
we had a motion.
Yep.
We had a second with conditions. You accept his conditions?
I do, yeah.
No, Candy.
I'm doing it for her.
That's fine.
Moving things along.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
I'm opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, we have application 2026-0022, Coleman Mitchell Land Development Site Plan.
don't, because I know it was here the other day. It's just for-
I just sent you guys a snip of that map.
Thank you.
And you don't happen to have this one, do you? Only this one?
No, but I can describe it for the board. Yeah, that's fine.
I sent that there. She didn't send it to you.
Sure. And when you get the chance, when you're back up the podium, if you could just identify yourself for the record.
My name is Corey Mitchell. I'm speaking on behalf of Cole Mitchell Heating and Air Conditioning for our addition plan and remodel at 398 Georgetown Road in Lawrence. I would like to speak to the letter from Gateway Engineers that we received on August 17th.
So why don't you describe your project? You're just doing a little addition to the back of your building, right?
Correct, roughly 440 square feet
Yeah,
on the
so-
back corner of the building, just kind of squaring off what's already existing.
So it's the most complicated little project. It's gotten very complicated because of the zoning issues.
Mhm.
The setback and the
Well,
pre-existing.
yeah, they were to the zoning hearing board, and they're looking at this, Liz is looking at this as an expansion of a non-conforming use. So I understand you were at the zoning hearing board, and they
Correct.
continued you, right?
Correct, yeah,
Related
depending
to-
on the current setback
Yeah.
measurements and what the addition would put it over, which I just got back today, it looks to be about a foot of a difference once we square that off. From
Sure.
what's already non-conforming.
Yeah, so, when they come in for a land development like this, it like kicks in a million different criteria. I mean, this site has been used as it is, and I assume it's not really changing that much except for the addition that you're gonna put on, right? Like, you're not gonna have more trucks here, you're not gonna have more people coming into the
No,
office.
there's like
Yeah.
roughly 8 of us in the office, like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Right.
Obviously, we'll have technicians coming in now throughout the day, but probably no more than what was already there over the last probably 40 years.
So the complication in this is that once you start drawing things, like you try to make it comply with a couple additional parking spaces, you kind of lay them out. None of the parking spaces comply with our ordinance, and that's just because it is what it is. So, I'm sorry, your first name was again?
Corey.
Corey, my letter basically calls out a whole bunch of waivers that I say that they would need on parking. I was in error on that. The supervisors can't grant those waivers. You're gonna have to take those back to the zoning hearing board. When you go back to finish your plan up, they're gonna have to speak to these.
I said I was going to speak to the comments that you made at the
Right.
zoning meeting the other day, and Liz told me that would all be done tonight.
Yeah, well, that's my bad. We switched ordinances, and it says specifically that the supervisors are allowed to look at certain things, and I misinterpreted it, and I thought they could be waivers. And I had no problem with the parking the way you propose it, other than the parking along Georgetown Road, backing into Georgetown Road.
Mhm.
And I think you would still comply even without those parking spaces.
Well, I do have some comments to all of those.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'll let you go.
We
I'm
just
sorry.
jump to that right now then. If we're looking under the zoning part of the letter, looking at, well, I'd like to go to comment number 5 first, if we can. That kind of begins the parking requirements. There was a mention of combining the parcels, but there was also section 240-67. We've reviewed that, and I believe since we will be the sole business on the property, we may not need to combine the lots.
Yeah, but that complicates you from a zoning perspective then, because you have a line going through the center. And when you measure setbacks related to that line, I think you still might comply, but I'm not positive that you would have 25 feet from the line. I mean, it's a very easy thing. You can do the combination at the same time you're doing this process when you go to the supervisors. It just makes sense to make it all one tax parcel. Then that line's not there and we don't have to observe that line. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to do it. If you don't do it, then you have to get, the same variances would apply for the parking. And again, I'm not trying to make this more complicated. It's complicated enough.
Hey, Dan, Lauren and I are looking at, where's the lot line that we're discussing here? Because it's apparently not on this plan that's before
No,
us.
it's not on this plan. It's actually on a Gale survey. Here's the survey. Want to see the survey? There's actually 3 lots there.
Oh, boy.
And they are, if you look at Washington County, their tax, Jack can go to Washington County, they're actually tax parcels.
So would you want me to do it line or no? They got 1 and 2.
Okay, so, yeah.
That's 1, 2, and 3.
I know. I know. Dan,
Yeah.
can you, maybe we'll get our answer here. I'm just not seeing the lines here. I see-
They're the little dots.
Oh, it is, okay. Because there's a tax ID that crosses over 2 of the dots.
Yeah,
Over
if
one
you
of the
look at,
bottom
well, there's 2 of them
I know.
there. Like, it's 2 lines. See the line?
Yeah, see, like.
It goes right through the center.
Yeah, they
and then
go,
there's one-
that
one-
way, so there's
Okay.
1, 2.
Yeah.
One of them, there's 3 lines shown on that plan, but there's 2 separate tax parcel ID
Yeah.
numbers.
I see it now.
So if you draw where that tax parcel ID number line is across the site plan, it just monkeys the whole thing up
Huh.
from a zoning perspective.
Oh,
I see,
wow.
that helped bring it up. That's what
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see.
yeah, because the tax ID here,
We
there's
drew-
the one
we-
here, and then this one crossed over, and it was
Yeah.
confusing.
We drew it on here like where it is.
Gotcha.
The architect just didn't show it. I'm sorry, Corey, keep going.
No, that's okay. So, sounds like it would make more sense to combine this into one parcel, correct?
It just, that's my recommendation because, it complicates things, even though you guys own both parcels. I mean, like, I don't know from a business standpoint, like, let's say somebody slipped and fell in the parking lot, just per se, and they were going into the business. Like, I think from an insurance perspective, like you'd want it all to be all on one, like you're insuring your whole property, right? And I don't even know if the insurance company would know it's 2 tax parcel ID numbers. I'm just giving that as an example. It just, we recommend, like if the parking is supposed to be for the building, it's supposed to be on the same lot, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And again, it's getting this Gale's plan that you already have the work done. They just need to put some clauses on here, erase that line, and again, bring it back here. We approve it, the supervisors approve it, it's gone. So,
That's easy.
yeah, it's not complicated.
Okay.
I mean, somebody should have advised you of that to this point. I'm sorry they didn't, but.
Okay. I will. I have that note then to reach out to Gales and discuss a.
Yeah,
A
just a lot, we
consolidation.
call that a lot consolidation.
There's Georgetown and School Street. Yeah. Yeah.
Picture me now. Fire stations.
Yeah.
So I can see people already park along that edge.
They do, yeah. That was the one thing I was going to point out. The comment you have in the comment letter, opening them directly
I mean,
out to
people
Georgetown Road.
People can park anywhere they
They
want.
could, yeah, huh?
And I mean, but we can't approve them as real parking spaces.
Yeah.
Based upon the ordinance unless they get a variance from them.
All right, Corey, you want to continue
Yes.
going down through the letter? Because
Yep,
we'll circle
so-
back to our questions after.
Going to number 6, just some comments on some of these subpoints here. We would like to request permission from the township to consider the as-is condition to remain for the following subpoints. These points would hinder our parking and overall operational use of the property. For example, for subpoint A, we are aware that the parking configuration is not desirable. However, the property has been operating as a business in this capacity for decades. Coleman Mitchell is not a business that will have frequent turnover parking. Like I mentioned, it's basically for employees, mostly office, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Subpoint B, the 100 feet driveway separation will greatly impact the property since it has a depth of 125 feet and length of 150 feet, which would put the driveway entrances in very awkward positioning on this lot. Subpoint G, this will also greatly impact the parking lot and our use of the open space. Pretty much for this whole section here and all the subpoints, we respectfully request the township's consideration to allow the as-built condition to remain as is for this property.
I guess I'm struggling with this. This seems to have needed to go to the zoning hearing board first before the site plan comes
No.
to us.
No, I think Liz was running a parallel path with
Okay.
us. So they have to go back to the zoning hearing board anyway. What I would recommend is that the planning commission could give a recommendation to the zoning hearing board that would be helpful for them. I mean, my thoughts
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
my thoughts are, you know, if that's the way they park it now, that's the way they park it now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it.
The only ones that I wouldn't approve, by our requirements, they're only required 13 spaces. They show 18. So
Correct.
they could erase the ones in the front. Somebody could still park there if they want. We're not saying you can't park there, but we just wouldn't approve. They have enough compliant spaces that I would think that everything else that they show is fine.
Okay.
I
And,
think that's a
to
good
ask them,
compromise.
Yeah, I think so.
ask them to rip up their parking lot to put landscaping in doesn't seem to make sense.
No.
So again, I personally was going to, when I thought they were waivers, I was gonna say, I don't really see any issues here with what's being proposed to grant those waivers, other than just removing the spaces along Georgetown Road. We wouldn't want to approve those because if there was some issue there with somebody backing onto the road and we approved them, that would be a major liability for the township.
No, we understand Georgetown Road's not the easiest,
Yeah.
backing obviously into. So basically, we can have that lot there, that space, but just no stripe lines for parking or,
Yeah, I mean, you
Right
can
there.
do what you want there. After you get approval,
Yeah.
you just give us a plan that
yeah.
shows them not being there. You do what you want to do.
Okay,
I'm not, we don't know anything.
yeah. Well, one more point I wanted to make then, in regards to the landscaping. If you see in the top of the building, there's that white car right there. From that over to the corner of the property will be green space. So it is some additional landscaping. I think it's like roughly 1,056 square feet. That will be asphalt right now. That will be green space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to kind of obviously clean up the building and the lot a little bit, not just so much asphalt everywhere. Make it
Sure.
look a little more presentable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any lighting on the building for parking?
So I do have a comment about the lighting. We're gonna have lighting, yes, but we didn't pick out any kind of fixtures or anything of that sort. So how detailed does that lighting plan have to be at this point here?
Well, I mean, we just want to make sure that the lighting is not going to go onto other people's property. So you
Mhm.
are going to repave the lot too at the same time?
Mhm.
So if you're going to put up any light poles, you're probably just going to put light packs on the building, aren't you?
To be honest,
Do they have-
we're kind of holding off to get all these approvals once we saw what was all involved with this. So we haven't really dove too far into it
Yeah.
until we got some more approvals from some of the boards here. So
I think that's gonna be a very similar situation to the
Yeah.
Yeah.
previous one we
I
discussed
think
tonight.
you just refer that one to, that they just do a, you know, the lighting has to comply with whatever the township
Yeah.
requirement is.
Yeah, and it's the one candle foot, I believe, correct?
1 foot candle, yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
is a max.
Okay, moving on here, into the land development section. No comments here except for on point 4. We won't have any dumpsters on site. All trash will be hauled to an off-site location.
Okay.
Going to the general section.
Hang on,
Yeah,
should a
sorry.
note be put on the plan to note
Yeah,
that?
can you have your guy
Yes.
make these changes to the
Yeah.
plans?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And just for clarification, where would you like that change shown? On which drawing?
I'm sorry?
Which drawing would you like that change shown on the
I
site
mean,
plan
your
drawing?
site plan is the one that your SD1, this one that your architect prepared.
Got it, we can do that. Speaking of that SD1 that is in front of Jason right now, that is the most recent. I don't think when Liz and I initially put this together, we sent you the correct one, but there, obviously, the addition of 440 square feet. It is less than the 5,000 square foot.
Yeah, there's no
so there's-
stormwater
Okay,
required.
just want to make sure we understood all of that.
Yep.
Now, for general point 2, regarding the highway occupancy permit, if we use South School Street as an entrance, is that something we would still need?
You just need to put a note on the plan, that's all you need to do.
Just put a note on there.
That's what I say, a note regarding the requirement that our ordinance says you just have to give notification, so if PennDOT comes back and says anything to what you're doing there, we've done what we need to do, just give you notice that if they require a highway occupancy permit, you've been notified of it. So we're not requiring you to do anything except put that note on the plan,
Okay, and
exactly as I have it.
is it likely they would?
No,
Okay, just wasn't sure if that was something else we should be expecting to come through.
I mean,
or-
all you're doing is paving the road. I mean, you gotta be careful when you pave the road that you're not gonna change their drainage. If you monkey with their drainage, they'll come. they'll
Be
come
out there in a
back.
heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll talk to you.
No, there should be no changes to any of that. It's pretty much just resurfacing.
Okay.
Other than that, that's pretty much the comments I had and questions. Point 6 under zoning was my biggest concerns in the waivers. So just for clarification, I need to go back to the zoning board.
Well, you're going back
Yes.
there anyway.
Yes.
And what I
Well-
I sent Liz an email and Jack this afternoon, and I just said, you need to append your application to the zoning hearing board to go over those issues also and get them to give an opinion on that. And it would be helpful if the planning commission could make a separate motion that anything related to that,
Right.
then the zoning hearing board would know that the planning commission looked at it too.
Okay.
And they'll probably look more favorably upon the changes.
Sure.
So it's actually good that it worked out.
She also mentioned there was a meeting September 9th.
Yes.
What meeting would that be?
That's the continuation of the hearing for the zoning hearing board.
Okay.
So you're gonna miss the supervisors meeting if this planning commission recommends anything tonight, then you still gonna have to go back to the board in October. You would have your final approval.
Okay.
Hey, Corey,
Yes, sir.
a question here on SD1. So we note up on the backside of the property furthest from Georgetown Road and opposite of School Street, all this along here, it says existing, this note's here, should that be there? Instead of here, the existing 800 square feet of gravel area to be paid for parking? Is that referring to these three spots?
There's kind of some gravel area over here. This is already pre-existing, but from like this section to like right around in here, it's like gravel, grass. It's not very well cleaned up.
Because the way the note reads right now, it makes it look like you're trying to pave this all the way around here.
No, this will all be.
So you're there's this corner down here where that's gravel where the asphalt starts and stops, and you're just extending that.
Yeah, I would,
Yeah,
I
that
just
just
have
needs to
your
be cleaned up a
architect
little bit.
make that hatching area more consistent so that you understand what that note means. Because I was thinking with Jason, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna take this whole thing, the whole
I
back
didn't- I
side
was
there
like,
is all
why are
gonna
we
be
paving all the
pavement.
way around the building? It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of trees and.
Yeah,
yeah, I
no,
think-
I
I
see
think
it,
that's
I see
supposed
it
to be
up
on
there.
this. Yeah.
I think it's just this small area that's at 800 square foot, that
Yeah.
if you had them hatch it here and then made it a different hatch or this hatch, then, and that note pointing in there, then they'd get the
That
zoning
cleans it
hearing
up
board,
a lot.
clear it up for the zoning hearing board.
Yeah, because they're going to have the same
Oh, yeah,
concern.
yeah. Thanks, Corey.
Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, Dan, I think, yeah, eliminate those lots
Yeah, the lots, the
up on
parking
the
spaces.
parking space up in front there. Fix that note. You saw what we were talking about? Did you see that? Where the,
Yeah, where that,
so this note right here, existing gravel area to be paved for parking is out here.
right,
So it makes it look like it's,
yeah, the whole thing.
I
Yeah,
think
it
it's
needs to be
referring
right
to
there.
this. Yeah.
Fix that, yeah, good point. I didn't catch that.
or maybe there's a
Yeah,
separate area.
They're gonna landscape this area, and then they're gonna pave these 3 spaces. Yeah, this one needs to be.
And then resurface all of it. Yeah.
Corey, is this whole area around here, like where you're gonna pave these 3 spots, that you plan to just landscape all of this around here, or just this piece in the front?
This will all be landscape.
Yeah.
Yep, it's existing grass right here, old, just run over shrubbery, we're just gonna clean all that up. Hopefully put some new landscaping all through there, obviously make that real nice and just run up well.
I mean, you can see it on the aerial there, the whole rear of the building and then around the one side. It's all overgrown, but they're not, they make it look nice. And then right next to that white car is where, Corey, you're talking about adding some extra pavement there that's gravel.
That makes sense.
See, the only problem here is that, if you take away these spots, you still have an ADA spot there, you're gonna have to show that to them. You sure you want your ADA spot there?
If they're the closest to have.
Where's
right next to the sidewalk.
where's your front door?
Right here, the sidewalk would be just right there.
I mean, you
If
might
there's
have to
customers
just
that like to come in.
widen, push that over just to have.
If this was,
yeah.
if this was angled or horizontal, would that make a difference?
Yeah, I mean,
we
technically,
eliminate
it's supposed to
space.
not go onto the road. I would definitely not show these 3. If you need that one, you could actually show it parallel.
Just about to say, yeah.
Yeah, a parallel handicap parking spot.
Straight through and
Yep.
go down Georgetown Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going that way back out here.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the best way to go.
Yep.
Remove these 3, angle this.
And then,
put it horizontal.
Just turn it 90.
and call that your handicap space.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is one for me that's different from the previous one where, I don't see, I know it's non-conforming, but adding that corner, I'm with Dan on this. This is much ado about nothing. I'd really like to see this be approved.
Yeah, and me too, because it's making this better.
Yes.
It's cleaning it up. They're obviously investing in making this, improving the situation that's currently there. So yeah,
Yeah, we support what you're trying to do. We just want to help you.
Sure. Yeah.
Get-
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get it the best way possible.
Yeah, and if it matters, the Hymans, who own the property right behind, who would be the most affected or in full support, their son actually spoke out the other day, Randy Hyman, at the zoning board, just in favor of everything we're doing. So we've been in communication with them as well.
Wonderful.
great.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So, we got a little bit here to work out, but I think we can put this together into a motion. What do you two think, or do either of you have anything else to add or any questions?
Oh, look at it, Candy. I'm speaking for you again.
You did it once, you don't want to do it.
I'm all done. We're getting late in the night here. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion. It's gonna be, I hope I pick up everything here. Application 260022 Coleman Mitchell Land Development Site Plan recommendation for approval, contingent on the removal of the striped parking spaces on Georgetown Road, sliding that handicap space to be
90 degrees.
90 degrees the other direction, so it's not opening up into Georgetown Road. Fixing the hatching up there to show where you're going to turn the gravel to asphalt, where that 800 square foot note is. Is that it?
That
And
would be it for the recommendation on your approval for the
Yeah.
land development.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve it contingent upon those items to be fixed for the parking.
we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I would also recommend that you guys make a separate motion to direct Jack to inform the zoning hearing board, or Liz to inform the zoning hearing board, that you're in concurrence with granting the waivers to allow the parking as it is right now, with the exception of the parking along Georgetown Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
So an additional motion I'd like to make is based on the Gateway Engineers August 17th comment letter specific to the waivers in discussed in comment 5 and 6. We support those waivers being granted, understanding that it's the way that the site currently exists and has operated for many years. And to communicate that to the zoning hearing board.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'm glad you were secretary tonight. You get to write that all
Oh,
down.
I've got a lot of fun stuff to. Dave owes me.
Thank you, I
All right.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks, Corey.
absolutely. Good luck.
Thank you. And then just make sure, what else, do I would need to come back here at all, or is it,
Not
if
back
the
to
zoning
you, you
board
need to
approves it, we're good?
Have your site plan revised,
Mhm.
get it back to Liz,
ASAP.
yeah, and then you'll go to the zoning hearing board for the 9th of September. And then if they grant your special, or your expansion or conforming use and grant the variances on these sections of the parking, then you'll be ready to go to the supervisors on first Monday in October for final approval.
Okay, sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. All right, we're rounding the final bend. We are done with new business. We're moving on to ordinances and amendments. We have to consider a text change to the, ironically as it is, the I-1 zoning district.
Well,
Jack, Dan, one of you?
I think it's Jack's on this one.
Basically, I provided you the text. It was recommended that, let me pull it up here. My letter dated August 6th, recommendation to a text change in the I-1 district. Issue surrounds existing residential properties that lie in I-1 zoning district. If someone remains a residential use and wants to stay that way, they are bound by I-1 zoning regulations, and of course they are non-compliant in terms of bulk regulations. To address that situation, it's recommended that we have a text change to the I-1 district conditional use. And in that letter, the recommendation is modify section 240-32, C15, as it reads right now, all uses by right in commercial districts except any residential use. The suggested change would be all uses by right in commercial districts. So it's very basic.
Yeah.
So one thing to keep in mind, specifically this is over around the Universal Electric piece that's along Georgetown Road.
Yeah.
So there's a pocket of residential houses over there. I think I counted 8 that are in the I-1 district. And this is the only area in the township where the supervisors have extended an industrial zone through a residential property to reach a remote parcel. Remember, that's what somebody gave me, one of the supervisors gave me the history of this, that they came and wanted to develop the universal electric piece. So in order not to make it spot zoning, they wrapped it all the way around and took it down there and went through the residential properties. And at the same time, these residential properties, if they want to subdivide or do anything, they're all non-compliant. They have to go. And if you go into our other zoning districts like commercial, they allow for residential subject to R2 conditions. So
Correct.
that's what this would do.
Yeah, I think this is
It's
yeah. Really a no-brainer.
It just makes it easier on them if they want to stay there, you know?
Yeah.
And there's already buffering requirements in this area. There's strict buffering requirements if you try to do residential industrial versus against a residential use. It doesn't have to be a residential zone. There's like 100-foot buffers that are required in the industrial side of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to build a house next to an industrial property, more power to them. It's the concern's the other way around,
Yeah.
usually, right?
So basically, we're looking at that parcel right, these parcels right here.
Yep.
And then up in,
I think there's a couple there, Jack, as you're on the corner there.
yeah.
And
Let
then
me zoom
there's,
in a little bit. It'd be right in here.
Yeah,
right,
There, yep.
there's like, might only be one house left in there now. Yeah, just the one, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's right in, that section right in there is it's circled, probably more like right in here, but larger one is right here.
Any discussion?
Well, wouldn't these properties already be non-conforming? I mean, I thought the purpose was so they didn't have to meet the setbacks. Wasn't that what was discussed? That they didn't have to meet the setbacks, so the houses that are already there would be non-conforming, correct?
Yep, but let's say you have a piece of property that's bigger than R2. R2 is like a quarter-acre lot. Let's say that you owned an acre, which some people do there, and you wanted to subdivide and give a piece of that to your son or something or daughter to build a house. You couldn't subdivide the property without getting a variance because you have to comply with all the industrial requirements.
So
you'd
they're
be
just
trying to get a-
basically trying to eliminate the fact that they don't have to come before a board.
You don't have to go to the zoning hearing board to continue operating as a residential
Because right
use.
now, this is currently a condition, in the conditional use section.
There's
what's-
no residential allowed in I.
Well, this section 24032 C15 is listed under this, all uses by right in commercial districts except any residential use is listed under conditional use in that section.
No, it's all uses by, well, right. So what ends up happening is what this gentleman just came in with, the same issue where he's requesting a variance on an already non-conforming. So this would remove that variance on a non-conforming,
Only for residential.
only for residential
Yeah.
situation. But it's interesting how a number of the things on our table tonight all kind of intertwined in
together.
different ways, and this is one here. So zoning hearing board is gonna look with even more scrutiny upon a variance request, when you're requesting for a variance, for another variance on an already non-conforming property. So you're trying to continue the non-conforming, even take the non-conformance even further. So they're gonna look at that with a lot more scrutiny. This would remove that barrier from those residential, from those homeowners. Did I get that right, Dan?
Yeah, no, you have it right. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with it. I think it
And
fixes.
if you, and remember, when you get a variance, you have to show a hardship.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So if you're in an industrial zone and you're residential, what's your hardship? I don't know what it is.
I mean, I think this is a logical fix. I don't have any issue with it.
Yeah, I think it was an oversight. It's never really come up, but you see like that one large parcel there, if they want to subdivide it, there's actually a few of them right next to the bus garage there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
Yep. yeah.
Do you,
No, I'm fine. I was just clarifying what we were trying to avoid by doing that. But
Yeah, we're
since
just
he
Trying to help the
explained it,
existing
you know,
residential.
I mean, since he explained that they don't have to go get a variance and jump through all the, I'm fine with that.
yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. We have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the text change in I-1 zoning district per the document that Jack sent over to us a couple weeks ago. I don't have the date in front of me, but
August
August.
6th.
thank you, August 6th.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Any correspondence or announcements, Jack?
I don't. I don't. I know that there's someone in the audience that would like to make a comment, and I don't have anything under correspondence announcements. We've had our discussions, so if it's okay with you, I'd like to give him the floor.
Yeah, I was going to move on to that with
Okay.
next on discussions. I recognize there were still some residents present, so.
I apologize.
Oh, you're good. Yes, sir, please. For the record, just state your name and,
I'm Mark Hummel. I'm a licensed land surveyor, and I'm here to speak about some instances here in Cecil and other townships. I'm trying to make others aware. There's a harm being done to the public. You folks approve a subdivision plan. Gateway, all these other firms make subdivision plans all over, put them out there. Small guy like me comes in there. I've got a client that got a new home out here, wants to put a fence up. I pull the subdivision plan and it says, set iron rod here, set iron rod here, set iron rod here, set iron rod. This is how I get my control and bring this into the subdivision so that I can actually help them get their their fence in this subdivision. But when I go out there, these points are not set. I've called several firms, and I'm not gonna pick on Dan, but his firm was one of them I called, and they had not set these points out there. There are a lot of communities that require those plans to verify that those iron rods have been set. If they've not been set, it's a huge harm to the public, because I could place a fence, which I did, in an area where it was not on their property. Therefore, I would like you to confirm or not guarantee, but push towards getting these other firms to set these iron rods that are on these plans that you're approving. And if we can work that way, you're gonna protect the public. Right now, you're not protecting the public by just approving the plan and not making sure they're done. Now, I'm licensed in other states. Other states require a bond for these subdivisions. One state that will remain nameless requires every iron rod to be set in that subdivision. So that way, they, the family, know where their property lines are, if you want to know where they're at. But, you know, that's the type of stuff that you're going to help the public have a better community, rather than to, you know, require the subdivision developer put those in. So that's just my comment here tonight. I thank you for listening. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, typically in the township, when we close out a subdivision plan, like Iron Ridge, part of the checklist is to make sure that the monumentation has been installed. So it doesn't necessarily happen right away. It might happen 2 years down the road. But at least the monuments in the road are installed. I don't recall a large amount of iron pins being shown on big subdivision plans, but mostly we just try to get monumentation. Certain ordinances require it and certain ordinances don't. But I agree with your, you know, there should be control in all the subdivision plans. I don't think every pin, every corner should be marked, but should be something you can work from.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Dan, I beg to differ, because I had a plan from your office that was 10 years old that they had not been set. Reason being is the developer didn't want to set them, is what I was told by your survey department.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
And that to
that's
me
very well,
is-
that's why, you know, I don't know if you're out doing work for free.
No,
Yeah, so I'm not gonna send a survey crew out if somebody doesn't wanna pay for it. But what we can do in the township is, we have control over bigger subdivision plans that we can make sure that it's done before they close out their bonds.
correct.
So indirectly it is. But like on other types of plans where they're individual plans that aren't necessarily development, that might not happen. So I understand your plight.
No, and I get it too. I mean, good fences make good neighbors, and good pins make sure the fence is
But
where it's
I
supposed to
think,
be.
I think the bigger things is that, you know, like on a state level, there needs to be a statute that requires that. I mean, we waste a heck of a lot of money. We waste a heck of a lot of money on erosion and sedimentation control, but we have no iron pins in the future.
Well, thing is I have been fighting this for 20 years, and it's a difficult battle. I can take 2 steps forward, but I get beat back 5 steps, because the old surveyors say, well, it's gonna cost me money to set all those pins, and I'm going, if you can't get a job and you put a $2 iron rod in the ground here, and 500 foot away, you put another $2 iron rod. If you can't afford that, I'll give you $5 to set those 2 rods, because it is just, I mean, I had a job just the other day. It took me 6 hours to bring
Yeah.
the control in from way, like
Yeah.
almost next door, to where I could get it where there were some fences that made sense in that subdivision. And I do 3 to 4 surveys a day. And it's just, some of them are just, I walk in there. Cranberry is a great township. You can't put a fence any closer than 2 foot to the property line. So I got a 2 foot line here, I got a 2 foot line there. I walk right up between the 2 fences. It's a walkway for a surveyor. You know where that iron rod is at, or should be.
Yeah.
So, once again, thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Any other comments?
Anybody else?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, darling.
This is in regard regard to the independent enterprising rezoning.
Mhm.
First of all, Cecil Township has been seeking more tax revenue from commercial and light industrial. I wish that this does get passed without too much of a problem. This parcel of land creates a great opportunity for the light industrial in the township. The other thing, that terrain and the grade of this property is not suitable for housing. This parcel of land already has a natural buffer on many sides. If the homes up at Silver Creek are going to be able to look over, I find that kind of hard to believe, because aren't they going to have to go in there and do some excavating and leveling it off? Because it seems to be a mountainside where they want to put this place, the industrial. So I think that the other thing is, last but not least, this parcel of land will not impact our township roads at all, or inconvenience the residents. It is surrounded by all the state highways. And we already made an industrial place for John Allen Kosky that is in the middle of Mayfair Meadows and Overlook. And we just approved a contractor's yard on Burnside Road. It is right across from Overlook. And if Davis's farm gets more housing, I think that we need to consider this independent rezoning go through. And I'm hoping that us as a board of supervisors will okay it. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah.
We made our recommendation.
Yep. Thanks for your comments. You hold the power. Yes, absolutely.
Good evening. I'm Dennis
Dennis, yeah.
Suchak,
Yep.
Rudovich Road. My concern is Pool Valley. And I think my question will be addressed to Mr. Azaroff. Yun's approved a plan. It doesn't even have an adequate access to it. He's got the main entrance on Lewicki Road. That's not even a 50-foot right-of-way. That's only a 33-foot cartway. I don't see why he doesn't have major entrance down in the valley, Cool Valley, which is more of a distance away from South Point Boulevard in the light, in good sight distance, both right and left. Why he doesn't take a road, access road, right up into that development from down in there. And I think on an engineering aspect of it, I think that would have been a question for you, Dan. Can you answer me that?
I don't, Dennis, I really don't even understand. You're making a statement, not a question. I don't understand the question. I don't prepare the plan. I review the plan that's submitted. So the plan that was approved was a land use plan. It approved the land uses on Cool Valley. As far as the access, it's a state road. So all access is being approved by PennDOT. The local roads within the development, you asked the question, the local roads within the development are proposed to be private, and the supervisor stated that in their conditional use approval. The plan has to come back in. It has to get many other approvals. It still doesn't have their PennDOT highway occupancy permit. There was a significant traffic study that was done on that project. There's been many years of planning and so forth in the highway improvements. And I know you're not happy with them or what's being proposed, but if they can't get the additional area that they need to make the road to come in that they've proposed, then I don't know how they're gonna do the plan. Maybe they don't get the land. I mean, I know Mr. Lewis owns it and they have to negotiate with him, but if they can't get the land, maybe they don't build the plan. I don't know. Well, again, they're not before this board. They're not allowed to build anything there right now. All they have is a land use approval for the project, a conditional use to do that development based upon what they've shown. Now they have to go through and do all the nitty-gritty to get approvals, acquire land, do a whole bunch of things before they come back in. So if I was presented with a plan that didn't have what they have proposed right now and it didn't meet the criteria that's required, then I wouldn't recommend to the Board of Supervisors to approve it. So I don't know why you guys are ganging up on me. I didn't prepare the plan.
I talked to John Haynes twice.
Yeah, but again, we don't.
He has an engineer
Yeah,
with all these drawings like this here,
yeah.
with no measurements, no nothing on them. And he wants to take my property and
Well, you're a smart man. You're gonna want more than that from him, I assume.
well, I say I want this and that, or my rest of my family wants to sell it outright.
Yeah.
And he does his basic, ha, you got a gift. You know, just stupid jokes. And the last meeting he said here, oh, we're in talks. I met at the coffee shop and it was a joke. There was no agreements on nothing.
Yeah.
That was at 2 meetings. It lasted probably 5 minutes.
Well,
Not
guys,
everything
all I
wants to be
can tell
nothing.
you is that they've accomplished the first step. They've established where they can put commercial use and residential use on the property. The Board of Supervisors made them get an extra access point that worked better, that protected the people in Maple Ridge. They've presented a traffic plan that shows multiple improvements along Morganza Road. As far as I know, the only improvement that's approved is the one that's at Morganza and McMurray, and that's gonna be built. They still don't have their permit for Lewicki Road, and the County Redevelopment Authority is working on getting the work done at the South Point interchange. So they need those. Let's listen to me out. They need those 3 improvements from PennDOT before they could put any significant development on that site. And I just can't see them investing. I mean, that's a $30-40 million deal to put the infrastructure in that property. I just can't see them doing that at risk without knowing that they don't have all their transportation lined up and all their approvals and right-of-ways and stuff like that. And again, they have to come back into this board, and when I see this stuff come back in, I'm gonna ask all those questions. This wasn't the appropriate time to ask it with the first step of the project, if that makes sense. There needs to be, it's like a chicken and egg. They need some sort of an approval to move to the next step too, but they might not get past the next step.
But you approved their plan.
We didn't approve it, we approved a land use plan. And that land use,
Let me just say this.
yeah,
South Point is what capacity right now? 50?
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, I remember coming down 79 South, Hendersonville, the overpass there, and traffic backed up for getting off at South Point. That was when South Point was at capacity and running.
Right.
79 doesn't have the capability of handling South Point when it was at capacity. Now, you want to build something on the left-hand side. You all know he's got 900 some acres. You get up South Point, make the left, go up, South Point Boulevard to Morganza. You all know he's going straight through. Right? So you just want to build this little.
I don't know what he's gonna do beyond what he's presented. And again, it's not our plan.
10 years ago, he brought this up and tried this
Yeah.
before. She was on the news. She said it right. We're gonna need a 4-lane highway down Morganza each way to handle the traffic.
don't shoot yourself in the foot with letting him trying to bulldoze this little, making Merganza and South Point Boulevard a little 4-lane intersection. It's not gonna work.
All I can tell you is the people that they would be seeking as tenants are going to want to make sure that the highway improvements are in and they're adequate to get people in and out of the site.
Okay,
Nobody's gonna
yeah.
invest in that site if the transportation doesn't work.
Okay, Merganza Road. Lewicki is the prime road in and out of that project.
Yes.
The second one was the second entrance, which came to emergency use only. It was a second entrance, but it went down to emergency use only and key cards, which is a joke. And you shot that down because of Maple Ridge. Now he wants to put this other entrance in, which is gonna have a slope of what?
It's gonna be steep.
It's gonna it's gonna slide.
Okay, I mean, again,
I'm
you're,
not an engineer, but I know, I've done construction work.
yeah,
This guy has too.
but guys, again, I understand where you're coming from. You know, you guys have your issues with the development. We've not been presented with the materials that we can articulate to you what the impacts are gonna be or whether they can even do it. All we've been presented with is a conceptual plan, and again, in this zoning district, they took the first step. All they did was establish their land use plan. They're gonna be back in here, if they decide to develop it, they're gonna be back in here for multiple approvals over multiple
For sure.
years, the same way that South Point 1 and 2 did.
Okay, 2 meetings ago, it went too late, and he said, next meeting, we'll vote on this. Yes, it seemed like 5 minutes, and they voted yes. Like there was nothing. I don't know why he didn't vote the first time.
You're talking about Board of Supervisors?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I don't have a vote.
Well, it's second time in, I mean, Cindy was all against it and wanted a better entrance and stuff, and Ian's John Haynes coming in this goofy second entrance way in, and you just, there's no paperwork, no engineering for it or nothing, and you just.
Well, they did enough engineering to know it will work.
Yeah, but I was at that meeting, and yes, she was against it until the next meeting when they came back, and all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, they came out with their list of proposals that if that developer was gonna do it like the private streets, which is the only development in this township that has private streets that the township will not take over, if you accepted them, they would vote for it. And that was one of her conditions to begin with. If you tell us, she said she would vote against it if they would make them township roads. They came back to that next meeting, and at that next meeting, the township presented them, Frank read them, with a list of 9 or 15, 10 conditions.
Yeah.
Where those conditions came from and how they went from point A at one meeting to point B with these 10 conditions, I have no idea the process in between that. But that's why they voted, because they agreed to those 10 conditions.
It's a conditional use, and generally, there was some discussions back and forth between various supervisors as to what the conditions would be, and the solicitor and myself helped draft them conditions, and the board looked at those conditions and felt that they were the ones that they wanted to include within the approval. That's what a conditional use is.
I understand that that's what the conditional use is. What I'm saying is some of those conditions that were on there, I don't remember being discussed at the conditional use meeting.
Well,
And then there were other things that were, you had to come back. You don't come back to the next meeting unless you're prepared with documentation to give us numbers of what the traffic is gonna be like on that road, and none of that was done, is all I'm saying. That's how it went
Candy,
from
there was
nothing to
a
conditions.
separate, that's not true. The traffic information was presented to the traffic engineer for the township. He reviewed it. He wrote a separate letter. I apologize that the planning commission didn't get that letter, but it was sent to the board of supervisors, and they took additional traffic counts. They went out and analyzed the traffic, and they came back with a supplementary study, and there's less traffic now at South Point than there was before. So actually, all of the assumptions in the traffic study were valid. In fact, they're more.
I think I actually recall that being discussed.
They did discuss that at
Yeah.
our meeting.
Yes.
And that's
Okay.
fine, if that's how they came back and they presented that information. But I think the discord here and the disconnect is that these guys I was at those meetings. I was at the conditional use hearing. I listened to what went on, and it was like we were under the impression that they were going to come back and make a presentation and inform the people that were there that, okay, we did a traffic study. Our traffic study backs up what we told the planning commission and what we have been saying, that there are less things. The problem is that wasn't relayed to anybody that lives in that area. So I can understand why they're upset and they don't know what's going on, because none of that was related. If they would have let the applicant, when they came back, present the information that they asked for originally about the traffic, about the roadway, what they were going to do about it, then the public might have an understanding about what's going on, but that's not what happened. They came back the same as I did. I was expecting a traffic engineer to be here to say, hey, yeah, this is, we're going to do this, whatever. And none of that happened. We just came out with 10 proposals and whatever. I understand their conditions, and the township has every right to do that. I understand how conditional uses work. I'm very familiar with it, but I think that's what the problem was. They went from point A to C, and there was no explanation in the middle of B of that, yes, the developer meant what we want them to do. They proved to us that they were right. This is how we came back to it. That's all I'm saying. It just went from A to C. There was no explanation. You might know because you're an engineer and you have, you get engineering reports, but people in the public that sit back there don't.
But on these traffic studies, do you go post-COVID or you go pre?
They took current counts now.
How would you go current when you got South Point sitting over half empty?
Well, it's true, but
what it is.
the first traffic study was done considering
So
South.
you're gonna
South
go
Point.
post-COVID when traffic's very light now, and you're gonna let them build these little roads to handle new development.
No, the roads,
The first one was done prior to COVID.
right, the first study was done pre-COVID at high capacity with, yeah, and they came up with a plan that would have been acceptable for those high occupancy rates. Then they did a supplement study and said, because the occupancy in South Point has dropped, there's actually less traffic, but they still presented a plan that would have been acceptable for the pre-COVID occupancy rates.
So they're going with the pre-COVID.
Numbers.
Yeah. They just confirmed that the post-COVID, that the traffic is actually less, but they're not gonna go through all the trouble of backing that down. They know what it's eventually gonna get back to.
Is it true they're supposed to redo 79, the South Point exit?
They're going to do something there, yes.
I was told by several people
That's the project that the redevelopment authority it's under their wing right now. And Cool Valley is limited by PennDOT. Remember, these are all PennDOT roads, guys. They have an approved traffic study with PennDOT already. They got to this point. PennDOT has jurisdiction, and PennDOT is saying to them, you can only develop so much based upon the trips based upon the improvements that you put in. In other words, if you do McMurray and you do Lewicki, you're only allowed so many trips to come into the Cool Valley development. If all three improvements are done, that's planned out for the whole project. So the Board of Supervisors here, when they approved it with the condition that we follow PennDOT's same criteria.
Correct.
That the improvements have to be done in order for the development to occur. So the first question we would ask them if they came in with a commercial development would be, we'll track those trips that are related to that, and we've done that in other developments, and you limit, you count the trips as each development comes in, you know how many trips it will generate. There's manuals out there that, exactly, they've been studied all over the country, they know what they're gonna do. And I've been involved in several big commercial developments that I've been involved in. And I mean, there is traffic, there's no question about it. It comes at different times. I mean, it's interesting to see how it actually flows. They can make adjustments to things. They are gonna make some significant improvements along that road to allow people to get in. Again, they wouldn't make that kind of investment unless they know it's gonna work. That's just my opinion. They have a good consultant, and when they went, they could have done a bigger presentation. I don't disagree with you, but they had all the answers to the previous
I
questions.
believe they already had those answers when they came the first time and said
No, they had to
you
do,
know,
they had to do
I mean,
some
well,
work.
Yeah, for the road and stuff, but.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what the problem is. I think it went from A to C and nobody that came to that at the public
Yeah.
had any idea that, yeah, they really were right. There was less traffic and we could prove it and this is how we proved it, you know, or we're given the chance to ask any questions. It was just went from a hearing to conditions, which is fine, but I think for the public's knowledge, especially in this instance, when there's a lot of concerned residents about it, they ought to be informed about how they got it.
Can I comment on, maybe it'll help answer Denny's question when you asked why they wouldn't move that main entrance further down the road? There was a problem, and Dan, I think you'll chime in, to stay in compliance.
Thank you, Jack.
11% grade slope on the access road. They know they couldn't meet that, so they didn't even bother that. 11%? Dan, is it 10 or 11% not to exceed?
12 in the township. We can
What
go
is
up,
it?
up to 12.
12%, okay.
Yeah.
They knew they was gonna have trouble and they couldn't meet that. So in regards to that emergency road next to Maple Ridge, we sort of gave them a waiver to move that emergency road, access road for their townhomes and apartments to come down near Cedar Lane, which it would be greater than 11, it could be 13, 14%. But then now it becomes a driveway, a private driveway, okay? And I think that's why they shied away from going down there to put a major access into that place, an entranceway, because they couldn't meet the slope, percent of slope on that grade elevation there.
That's good.
If they would go from Danby Road straight up into his plant, but he's got probably half a mile from the Wiki Road of his frontage down to flat, that he could have taken the road not straight up, but right up along that ridge, and you go right into his plant. I mean, yeah, it's gonna build some road costs, building the road, but he could have made a beautiful entrance in on that hillside, going up in there. I mean, you know, we're not stupid here. You shoot the elevation of the road and shoot the finish grade up there, he could have taken that road right up alongside and going in there. Just like a beautiful entrance to that. Instead, all he's doing is butchering it up. Is township gonna let, after having, what we got in South Point, gonna have this guy coming in from Ohio, all he's worried about, I've been affected by several of his plants, and I see his finished products. Now, if this township doesn't get this plan right, what the hell is gonna happen when he starts to, 700 acres across the road, all that? What are you gonna do then? You know?
You're gonna have a mess. Honestly, I'm not an engineer, but you're gonna have a mess when he starts developing the other 600.
He has no sewage over there. Where's he gonna get sewage?
On his own plant.
Okay,
left,
I mean,
on the dozen.
guys, I think we'll all be in
I'll
the
have to
ground.
I'll show you.
We'll all be in the ground when that happens, if he ever makes it happen.
Hey, Sabatino's a big boy. What's Miranda Homes? They build their own sewer plants.
Ron Sabatino is like 80 some years old.
He's 74 years old.
He looks older than that.
So, but the thing of it is, the other thing that I'm very concerned about, and the township doesn't, so far has had a deaf ear to, was the fact that Grudovich Road could not make a left-hand turn coming out, because it's gonna be a four-lane access going down.
The plan that I saw was not 4-lane at that point, it was 3, I think.
Well, either way.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be, I wasn't gonna be able to make a left-hand turn.
I didn't see anything on the plan that would said no left side of Grudovich.
I thought they were putting in a turning lane, weren't they? Up and,
No, it's before the turning lane of the plan that I saw. They could still make a left out of there. Dennis, you can get out of there. Come on. What's the frequency that you bring equipment out of there? once or twice a week?
The other day I got a 1,500 ton of R5 riprap. 1,000 ton delivered one day, 500 ton.
Okay, well,
the
I mean,
other day.
they can get in.
That's all tri-axis.
They could get in.
Yeah, sure they can get in. But
And if there's no restriction getting them out, what's it?
on them drawings, there was posted no left turn.
I didn't see
It's
that
on
at
them
all.
drawings.
I didn't see it at all.
Well, it's.
Before that happens, before they would put a restriction on that, they would have to come to the township and inform the township of that. And we've seen no,
When
we've,
I talked to you, Dan, you said that the township had no.
but if Dennis,
authority,
Dennis,
that
if,
it was all PennDOT.
right,
Well, I talked to the PennDOT engineer, and he says, we can't do that,
Dennis,
because
till I see a plan that's in final form, I can't really address your question. And again, it's not our road. If they're affecting our local road and they're gonna require a restriction on our local road, they have to notify us of that. And to my knowledge, to this point, we've not been notified of any of that.
well, I hope that's the case.
Okay,
I mean,
so-
because, can you imagine me not being allowed to make a left-hand turn? I mean, I got property right on the other, down into Hendersonville.
Sure.
And I'm gonna have to drive 3-4 miles around to get to my property when it's only
I mean,
half a mile away.
when we see that request from PennDOT, we'll bring it to the Board of Supervisors and they can discuss it and decide how they're gonna respond. It's not your point is heard. And you've said it
That's the main
you've
thing.
said it multiple times. It's burned in my head.
Okay.
Wait, thank you.
One other question I have, and concern. And I seen this, like, it's in a paper and everything, that this great plan was approved, and it's finally gonna take off, and the starting date is this fall.
Yeah, I don't think so.
How can that be?
Do you read everything you believe in the paper? Do you believe everything you read in the paper?
I got what you're saying.
Yep. Hey, we understand your concerns.
What's that?
I said, we understand your concerns.
Okay.
And they're well known, and appreciate you coming down here tonight to speak to all of us about it.
Thank you.
I'd like to state my name. My
Yes.
name's Sean Lewis. I own property on Loki Road.
Thank you. You got that? Sean, what was the last name?
Lewis.
Lewis, that's what,
Lewis.
yeah.
Sean Lewis.
Yep, thank you. Is there anything else that anybody would like to bring before this commission? Anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
9:22.
We are adjourned.